I won't fight in a country where my people have to sit in the back. Muhammad Ali said this in 1973, turning down $5 million, the biggest purse in boxing history, to fight in South Africa. The promoters were shocked. They just offered Ali more money than he'd ever made, more money than most fighters would see in their entire careers, and he was saying no. Not because of the opponent, not because of the venue, but because under apartheid, black South Africans would be forced into segregated seating, treated as inferior, denied basic dignity. The promoters tried to negotiate, tried to make exceptions, tried to convince Ali that he could do more good by going and making a statement there. But Ali's position was clear and final. He would not participate in, benefit from, or legitimize a system built on the oppression of black people, regardless of how much money was involved. What happened next became one of the most powerful statements of Ali's career, and it didn't involve throwing a single punch. March 1973. Muhammad Ali was 31 years old, the heavyweight champion of the world again after beating George Foreman in the Rumble in the Jungle. He was at the peak of his earning power, the most famous athlete on the planet, and promoters from around the world were competing to host his fights. South Africa had never hosted a heavyweight championship fight. The country was wealthy, boxing-obsessed, and desperate to be seen as a legitimate player on the world sports stage, despite its apartheid system, the legal framework of racial segregation that classified people by race, gave white South Africans full rights, and systematically oppressed black South Africans. A group of South African promoters, led by a businessman named Harry Levinson, put together what they believed was an irresistible offer: $5 million for Ali to fight in Johannesburg. For context, Ali's biggest previous purse had been $2.5 million for a fight against Joe Frazier. This offer was double that. It was generational wealth. The promoters flew to the United States to meet with Ali and his team. The meeting took place at Ali's training camp in Deer Lake, Pennsylvania. Present were Ali, his manager Herbert Muhammad, several of Ali's advisors, and the South African delegation. Harry Levinson did most of the talking. He was enthusiastic, confident, treating this like a done deal that just needed Ali's signature. He'd clearly done this before, convinced athletes and entertainers to overlook political complications for the right price. $5 million, Levinson said, sliding a contract across the table toward Ali. The biggest purse in boxing history, larger than any fight that's ever been sanctioned. We'll build the entire event around you. You pick the opponent, anyone you want, we'll make it happen. We'll handle all the logistics, all the promotion, and all the details. All you have to do is show up, fight, and collect the biggest check of your career. Ali looked at the contract on the table, but didn't reach for it, didn't touch it. "Tell me about your country," he said. Levinson seemed surprised by the question, as if he'd expected Ali to immediately start discussing terms. "South Africa? Beautiful country. Modern infrastructure. Cape Town, Johannesburg, these are world-class cities. First world facilities. We have everything needed to host a fight of this magnitude. The stadium, the media infrastructure, the hotels, the airports, all top quality." "Tell me about the black people who live there," Ali said, his tone unchanged, still calm and conversational. The room shifted. Everyone felt it. Levinson's confidence wavered slightly, just a flicker across his face. "Well, there are different communities. It's complicated. South Africa is a complex society with different populations."
"Is it?" Ali interrupted, his voice still calm, but now carrying an edge. His tone was still polite, but everyone in the room recognized what was happening. This wasn't Ali the showman, the entertainer, the trash talker. This was Ali asking a question he already knew the answer to, giving someone enough rope to hang themselves. "It's a different system than what you have here. Levinson tried to explain. Different groups live in different areas. It's been that way for a long time. Separate but equal? Ali asked. That what you're telling me? Levinson didn't answer. Because we tried that here in America, Ali continued. It didn't work out so well. Turned out separate but equal was really just separate. The equal part was a lie. Herbert Muhammad, Ali's manager, spoke up. Let's be direct. You want Ali to fight in Johannesburg. Under your apartheid system, what happens to black fans who want to watch? Levinson glanced at his colleagues, then back at Herbert. They would have their own section, separate seating areas. It's just how events are structured there. In the back? Ali asked. Not necessarily the back, just separate. So yes, the back, Ali said. Black folks pay money to watch, but they sit in the back, away from white folks, like they're not good enough to sit with white folks. It's not about being good enough, Levinson said, his discomfort now obvious. It's just the system. It's not something we can change for one event. Ali leaned forward. Then we have a problem, because I'm not fighting in a country where my people who look like me, people who've supported me my whole career, have to sit in the back like they're second class. I'm not doing that. Levinson tried to recover. Mr. Ali, with respect, you'd be doing those people a service by coming. You'd be giving them a chance to see you fight. You'd be bringing attention to South Africa, which could help push for changes. By participating in the system that oppresses them? Ali asked. By taking $5 million to legitimize segregation? That's not helping. That's profiting from their oppression. It's $5 million, one of the other South African promoters interjected, as if saying the number again would change Ali's mind. I heard you the first time, Ali said. Herbert Muhammad could see this meeting was over, but he tried one more angle. Is there any scenario where you could modify the seating arrangements, maybe have integrated sections? Levinson shook his head. The government wouldn't allow it. Apartheid is law. We can't just ignore it for a boxing match. Then I can't fight there, Ali said simply. Levinson wasn't ready to give up. Mr. Ali, think about what you're turning down. This is life-changing money. This is security for your family for generations. This is blood money, Ali interrupted. You're asking me to take money to participate in a system that treats black people like they're not human. You think I don't know what that feels like? You think I don't remember restaurants in America that wouldn't serve me, hotels that wouldn't let me stay, white folks who called me boy and acted like I should be grateful for their tolerance? Ali stood up, the meeting clearly over. I didn't fight those battles just to go to South Africa and say it's okay when they do it. $5 million don't change what's right and what's wrong.
The South African delegation tried several more angles over the next few days. They offered $6 million. They offered $7 million. They suggested having Ali do a press conference condemning apartheid while he was there, turning the fight into a platform for change. Ali's answer remained the same. No. The story leaked to the press within days, as these things always do. Reporters from major newspapers and sports publications asked Ali about turning down the biggest purse in boxing history. Was it true? Had he really walked away from $5 million? And if so, why? Ali was characteristically direct in his responses, showing no hesitation or regret. They wanted me to fight in South Africa, Ali told a reporter from Sports Illustrated in a lengthy interview. They offered me $5 million, the most money ever offered for a boxing match. But under their system, their apartheid system, black people can't sit where white people sit. They're segregated by law. They're forced into separate sections, separate facilities, treated as less than human. And I told them I won't fight in a country where my people have to sit in the back. I won't take money to participate in that system. I won't legitimize it by my presence. The reporter pressed him. Given how much money he'd walked away from, did he have any regrets? Would he reconsider if they improved the offer? Regret? Ali said, almost laughing at the question. Man, I got stripped of my title and banned from boxing for 3 years because I wouldn't go fight in Vietnam. I was 25 years old, in my prime, the heavyweight champion of the world, and they took it all away. I lost millions of dollars during those years. Millions! This is just 5 million more on top of that. Money comes and goes. Principles are forever. If you compromise your principles for money once, then they're not really principles. They're just opinions you're willing to sell. The decision resonated far beyond the boxing world. In South Africa, anti-apartheid activists celebrated Ali's refusal as a powerful statement of solidarity. Black South Africans, living under brutal oppression, saw one of the world's most famous men turn down a fortune rather than legitimize their suffering. Nelson Mandela, who was imprisoned on Robben Island at the time, serving a life sentence for his opposition to apartheid, later wrote about hearing of Ali's decision through the prison grapevine. News traveled slowly to political prisoners, but when word reached them that Muhammad Ali had turned down $5 million rather than fight in front of segregated crowds, it became a story that prisoners told and retold. Muhammad Ali gave us hope when we had very little. He showed the world that not everything could be bought, that some men would rather lose money than lose their principles, that dignity and human rights mattered more than wealth. That mattered to us in ways that are difficult to explain to someone who has never been oppressed. When you're treated as less than human by your government, when you're told daily that your life has less value than others' lives, hearing that someone as famous and powerful as Ali would sacrifice millions rather than participate in that system, it reminds you that you are not crazy for believing you deserve better. The South African government, deeply embarrassed by the international attention to their apartheid system, tried to downplay the story. They claimed Ali was never really serious about fighting there anyway, that the whole thing was a manufactured controversy, a publicity stunt. They suggested that Ali probably never been offered that much money in the first place, that the promoters were exaggerating.
But the damage was done. The story was out. International newspapers ran headlines, "Ali refuses $5 million to fight in South Africa." Sports Illustrated did a feature. The Times of London wrote an editorial. And crucially, other international athletes began refusing to compete in South Africa. Tennis players turned down tournaments, rugby teams canceled tours, cricket matches were boycotted. Sports boycotts gained real momentum. The world was paying attention to apartheid in a way it hadn't before, and Ali's very public, very expensive refusal was part of what made that attention possible. For Ali personally, the decision was consistent with everything he'd ever stood for throughout his life. He'd converted to Islam and changed his name from Cassius Clay to Muhammad Ali because he refused to be called by what he considered a slave name given to his ancestors by their owners. He'd refused the draft and lost his title because he wouldn't kill poor Vietnamese people in a war he considered unjust, declaring, "I ain't got no quarrel with them Viet Cong." He'd stood up for Black Americans' right to dignity and equality throughout his career, using his platform to speak out even when it would have been easier and more profitable to stay quiet. Refusing to fight in apartheid South Africa wasn't a difficult decision. It was the only decision that made sense with who Muhammad Ali was and had always been. Years later, in 1993, after apartheid had ended and Nelson Mandela had been elected president of South Africa, Mandela invited Ali to visit. They met in Johannesburg, the same city where Ali had refused to fight 20 years earlier. "You sacrificed much," Mandela told Ali during their meeting. "You lost money that would have changed your life, but you gained something more valuable. You kept your soul. You showed us that not everything is for sale." Ali, by then struggling with Parkinson's disease and speaking with difficulty, smiled and shook Mandela's hand. "Some things matter more than money," Ali said quietly.
The $5 million Ali turned down in 1973 would be worth approximately $25 million in today's money. It was a staggering sum to walk away from. But for Ali, the math was simple. No amount of money was worth compromising on human dignity. No purse was big enough to make him participate in a system that treated black people as inferior. The South African promoters had come to Ali thinking they understood how the world worked, that everything and everyone had a price, that enough money could overcome any objection. They left having learned that Muhammad Ali couldn't be bought, not for $5 million, not for $10 million, not for any amount. Because the same man who'd said, "I ain't got no quarrel with them Viet Cong," wasn't going to fight in front of segregated crowds in South Africa. The same man who'd given up 3 years of his prime to stand on principle wasn't going to compromise those principles for a paycheck, no matter how big. In refusing that $5 million, Ali won one of the most important fights of his career. He proved that his commitment to justice wasn't just talk, wasn't just performance. He proved that when faced with a choice between money and principle, principle won every time. And he did it without throwing a single punch. If this story of courage and principle moved you, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Share this video with someone who needs to be reminded that some things matter more than money. Have you ever had to choose between profit and principle? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to ring that notification bell for more incredible true stories about the moments when doing the right thing costs everything and is worth it anyway.